Well, this would be the time. We know Balls to be one of the most solid and consistent players in aggression and defense. We'll see if he can, at this point, take Ackerman down while he's kind of bandaged up after that loss.
It's actually kind of a tricky difference in play style where Cloud9 will repetitively gank Balls and help him out again and again, whereas the LMQ style is very much to keep the other 4 people on the team sound and ready to go and make Ackerman fend for himself. Most of the time he can do it, and they've been getting away with it against the other LCS teams. They just couldn't get away with it yesterday against Dignitas.
Van's going through real fast. They do take the Shyvana. Lee Sin as well. And it looks like Ackerman does have his assassin, though, on the Blanc. He'll be able to make an impact this game from whatever he does, and possibly in the mid lane. We both know High to be aggressive, and Xiao Wei Xiao, no different.
Well, with the Shyvana taken away, it means that Ackerman has to play a different champion. He had played Shyvana 5 games in a row. And the question will now become what he goes back to. Obviously, when Cloud9 locks in so quickly, they are allowing Lucian to go through to LMQ. But I imagine they're okay with that because Sneaky played a whole bunch of Twitch at All-Star.
Yep. Also been playing a little bit of Corki, so definitely widening that champion pool for the LCS status and caliber of play. Lucian gets locked in. We're looking to see what Moore will have on support. I don't believe we've seen Moore's full pool. He definitely plays a set of things different.
Yeah, and I really like this Zyra pick for Moore as well. With the way that LMQ plays, which is so dive heavy, they just go in again and again. If they're not banning Zyra, they should pick her and keep her on their team because they struggled mightily against the Zyra yesterday in their game against Dignitas. Great job taking it away from Lemon Nation, who was quite the Zyra player himself.
LMQ means they can dive a little bit more. They're happy about that. Always going forward is one of their goals. We'll see what Cloud9 answers with here. Already have a good team to fight with. That's where Cloud9, even if they lose the laning phase, can easily pull it back at a quick fight on an objective.
Yeah. Or a 4-minute fight at Dragon.
Or a 4-minute fight at Dragon. That was ridiculous.
Taking their time with this one. I don't think they were expecting the Zyra pick right off the bat. The quick pivot to Nami. To me, that tells me they're going Twitch 100% as well. Nami is seeing a resurgence in competitive play. Got picked mightily in European LCS, has been picked in Korea for some time. Kind of like a more difficult Sona, but definitely good for the aggressive 80 carries.
I was going to say way back to their old ways of super dives, but it looks like they may just hover right now, seeing what they want. They may just take it. Nami, like you said, Kha'Zix picked up on the other side. High could and will be using that Kha'Zix in the mid lane as the AD carry to be picked up here. LMQ looking like a week 1 composition here if they bring in the Nunu.
Yeah, it's a lot of big circles for ultimates if they go with this one. The Zyra ultimate, the Nunu ultimate. Interesting how Ackerman would actually pivot to Renekton when Jax seems to have such natural synergy with the Nunu, but they want a stronger early lane matchup, and they do get more control in their overall composition when they do Renekton. They're now very much about that 4-man control, and I'd probably expect to see Xiao Wei Xiao split pushing a fair bit on with LeBlanc, and wow, Corki.
Sneaky's been hovering on that Corki the past few days.
Yeah, to pick that over Twitch is rather remarkable to me. Maybe they're just afraid to pick Twitch into the assassination potential of LeBlanc.
Right.
Even though we have seen some teams get away with it because Cloud9 has very little shielding on their team comp. There's the other part where just trying to figure out why they wouldn't go with Twitch.
No, yeah, absolutely.
They have a physical damage mid laner, a mainly physical damage top laner, Shyvana, and a Lee Sin jungle.
That's
and Twitch
true.
does actually more magic damage to champions than physical damage. So it will
though.
diversify their damage a little bit in team fights and make it so LMQ can't just stack armor.
Sneaky loves the Zerg Greaves. Like you said, it's a weird grab there.
Yeah.
The Twitch going all the way through. I'm thinking even LMQ might be scratching their head a little bit about this one.
Yeah, unpicked or banned Twitch, especially with how good Vasili's been doing on it. But these are two teams where diving is an utmost priority, and I imagine they're thinking that they can't protect it.
All right, the teams are moving from Champ Select to the Rift, so let's tabulate the votes over at LOL Esports to see who you think will win. That says 51%. I was going to say 7. 51% calling this one for Cloud9, but don't worry, that can change.
An incredibly close vote here. You can keep voting on Twitter as well by sending either the hashtag LMQWin or C9Win to the @LOL Esports Twitter account. Make sure to include that, and we'll be checking back to see how those Twitter votes are calling the game as well, because, man, especially with how Cloud9 looked yesterday, looking kind of like they're back on form, and LMQ hitting their first step of adversity. That's a lot of story in this game coming in with the 50-50 happening right there. I would personally think that Cloud9 would have a bigger chance here, knowing that LMQ is so new, but they have a nice team comp.
We also have to look at the fact that the AD carries going head-to-head. You see Sneaky versus Vasily. These two are a few of the top 80 carries in the league right now. And we'll have to see if Vasily really chooses to show his aggression that he's known for.
Well, especially when Vasily came over to North America, in solo queue particularly, Vasily was just wrecking people by being 100% aggressive all the time. And then a lot of the LCS caliber mid lane or AD carries and supports would learn how to counter his aggression fairly well. And Vasily has done a good job so far in the LCS regulating his own play and just being efficient instead of over-aggressive. The most kills by 80 carries. Obviously had a bad game yesterday, but coming into the week, he had 28 kills, which was 13 more kills than the next closest 80 carry, and he had been dominating. But once again, up against Sneaky, a team that would wait for him to get aggressive.
And that lane would be good. C9 actually running Ignite on Lemon Nation coming in for this one on Nami. A little bit more aggression in that lane to Mora's Exhaust on Zyra for the zone control. LMQ making their way towards the red in a very split Cloud9. Will be safe. That was close.
Yeah, this is actually the same level 1 with one that LMQ did yesterday with one slight variation. They put a ward in their own red buff right there so that they could see Cloud9 moving in there. When LMQ did this yesterday, they got vision for themselves in the enemy red buff, but had no way of knowing where the other team was. And if we remember, Dignitas actually got a first blood on a no-name. This time, LMQ doesn't make the same mistake. They warded themselves so they know at least where the danger lies.
The slow moves does not right now look like we're going to get the matchup in the bottom lane. And it's going to be Balls heading towards that area. So the 2v1s, at least to start, actually Balls heading into the jungle rather. So the 2v-nuns, I should say, to start this one off.
Yeah. Farm heavy, roam heavy is generally what we're going to be seeing here. Sneaky and Lemon walking through the ward, and I wonder how much Ackerman's going to be a jungle friend with No Name as they share experience, and how much they're actually going to give to No Name. Because yesterday, we had a similar opening to this game. Actually, Medio's getting harassed down by Morbid.
Wow. We'll just come back for it. Good play, though. LMQ always is trying to do something. You got to give him that.
I have to say as well, what I'm most interested in now that we have these 2v0 openings is comparing Ackerman's farm to Balls' farm when the lanes actually happen. Because in almost all of Cloud9's games where they've done the strategy, they try and make sure Balls has a 1v1 advantage when the lanes even out that way, and LMQ has put almost no priority on that. And in Super Week, they got away with it. Ackerman was able to play from behind and still become successful. Yesterday against Dignitas was the first time they were heavily punished. When Ackerman eventually got into one-on-one lane against Zion Spartan, he was down a level and a longsword, and then ended up getting killed repeatedly.
Right.
I wonder if LMQ is going to change up, or if they feel like that was just an aberration.
Well, being the top team, like we said, at the end of the week, you are headhunted. People are watching your games over and over, so they're going to be waiting for those little things. A little bit towards the dragon here.
Plant tank with the feast. It's very easy for LMQ to take this early dragon. They don't lose out on hardly anything, so instead of deciding to roam and counter jungle, they decide to take a dragon. And because they're the blue side with this 2v0, this is their objective to take.
That's great for Ackerman as well. Usually he's not involved in this. He's just soaking up jungle camps. So a nice bit of experience there. A nice gold lead to start off the game, just under 4 minutes. Vasily's going to get some help back in the bottom. We'll see how C9 moves off of this, though.
Yeah, they look to just be sharing jungle continually. Cloud9 is very content, I suppose, with allowing LMQ to get that dragon. Surprised that when they went into LMQ's blue side of their jungle, they didn't leave any small minions up, so when LMQ rips back around to that side, there's going to be plenty left for them. And Cloud9 actually does no denial, so overall this early game is absolutely falling in the sides of LMQ.
See if Hai can play as aggressive as he wants. There's staple Xiao play, putting Hai down to half HP as he chugs through the potions. Like you said, that long sword start, keeping himself alive.
I mean, he's went through his potions already. Xiao allowed complete freedom with this 1v1 because of the warding of LMQ. They're not afraid of the triple roam gank. And another ward to just spot out exactly where they are. Plus, No Name gets it. Yikes.
Goes out the snowball. Very nicely done. And this time, chat, they aren't going to put Ackerman by himself. They do decide to switch up this situation.
Yeah, they're keeping a support with him. That's actually something Curse has been doing a lot of.
Good, yeah, good point.
Especially in quas laning. See if Balls can get ahead now. The Balls is doing a 1v1 against Vasily, and Ackerman's still grouping up, but Renekton is the control master in these early games. Let's see if LMQ tries to make anything aggressive happen.
Very strong play. Kind of works with the support roaming around. More can fall behind in levels. It won't be detrimental to him. You'll still be able to zone out once you get 6. So as long as LMQ keeps all their ducks in a row, this will be good for them.
They actually swept when they came through here, so Meteos has to bail out because he had no safety.
Oh, wow.
Another buff steal by No Name. So the counter jungling coming in pretty heavy from LMQ. And most importantly, I feel like this 1v1 isolation in the mid lane is really allowing Xiao to take an early advantage over Hai, sending Hai back to shop and being up in that CS.
We always said the Xiao, like the average 10, he's up at a certain point in time and he's already starting that lead. Vasily on the balls, as he's at least trying to stay in experience range, but Vasily's not having any of that. He puts himself goal side of the minions. 6 minutes on the clock, we get Hai returning to lane, trying to build damage immediately. Goes for that pickaxe.
Yeah, he rushed his Ravenous Hydra yesterday. And he actually evolved his Q first as the mid lane assassin, trying to get the isolation instead of the skin or the ultimate like many jungle Kazakhs do. He's got the lane in a good place at least.
That blue still not respawning. Cloud9's little minion is still alive there. That could be different. Not that Hai is going to super duper need it, or Meteos, but still. Xiao and the team can definitely use that to their advantage with the wards going down on it. They have 2 deep wards in the bottom half of the jungle, so LMQ is already thinking ahead of the game. They got these lanes won in their mind.
I find it really interesting as well that instead of equalizing the lanes, while Ackerman had a potential lead on Balls, they're both doing the 2v1s, and Balls actually getting pushed completely off the turret this time in the bottom lane. Maybe even
FB! First blood coming in from Ackerman as LMQ kind of just waltzes down the bottom lane.
Ackerman teleported in for that one. So really putting a bit of a focus onto Balls, which is something very unlike the LMQ team. They do not generally help out Ackerman or try to stop the enemy top laner. They leave that to him. Bit of a change in strategy and a very substantial early game lead here on Cloud9.
See what they can continue to do. No Name, making sure that he's staying in spots that really utilize helping each one of the lanes. Sneaky taking down the top turret. They'll get a little bit of gold back for that, but like you said, with LMQ's lead right now, the map pretty much theirs to control.
Yeah.
Blue buff going over here to Xiao.
And with the Sightstone on Nunu, the vision control is going to be immense for LMQ. When you pick the Nunu jungle, especially if you're pairing it with a Renekton, your team composition is all about control. It's not so much that in a perfect world 5v5 team fight they would win, because they would probably lose if the team just bashed their heads into each other, but they should have so much vision control, overall map speed and map presence, that that fight never happens.
Yep.
And it's actually now a minigame of whether Cloud9 can find advantageous fights despite being outwarded and outpositioned on the map.
Well, being outwarded on that blue buff, Meteos just cleared it 7 minutes on that, so we'll see it around 15. More.
Get some tri-brush ward.
Yeah.
Dog clap from the crowd.
It's something that'll get you. Get you every time. Just a steady gold lead from LMQ. They're really not putting themselves into tight situations. Sneaky with some damage. And Xiao once again, the blue buff is there. This could be a kill, but he will not go in. Doesn't really know where Meteos is right now in the encounter.
Still has his Ignite as well, so Hai basically has to go immediately back. It's more about Xiao showing his power CS-wise than necessarily killing him, and he's doing exactly that. It's what he was able to do during LMQ's undefeated Super Week every game.
Great poke coming in from Sneaky. Making sure to get an upper hand in the lane whenever he can. And it looks like they are going to get pushed back off of this one. Coming on the left side, if No Name can get a Blood Boil in, he may be there in time, but it is not enough. LMQ just getting pressure on the lane. No Name going to clear out some wards.
Yeah, tons of pinks. Very early sweepers. As LMQ continues to try and press in on this, you can really see how 1v1 LeBlanc is destroying Hai's Kazakhs.
And the speed of games always increases when you see the wards coming out. We've seen it with Dignitas recent games. LMQ back to 2 sight stones very early. Going in, Xiao toying with high right now, but not really afraid of anything on the outside. They have the map controlled.
It's generally a matchup that LeBlanc has a pretty big edge in, so it's a great job by Xiao. Looks like he's going to be around 90 CS at 10 versus 60 on high, which is actually 10 higher than his average was. High jumps in, but that's the bait.
Super good play coming in from LMQ. They feed him right into that one. Xiao picking up a nice kill to level for himself as well. And Dragon coming up.
That was really just a frustration jump by High. He was trying to slingshot his way back in the lane, knowing he had already lost early. Thought he could burst with the Tiamat. Was not to be. And this is complete control by LMQ. This is the polar opposite of what happened against Dignitas yesterday.
High playing well on Kha'Zix yesterday. Had a different lineup for the rest of the team. We didn't have the Nami play in there, but it just seems like everybody's on a different page right now.
Yeah, it seems like they just can't find the right note in their notebook as far as Cloud9 is concerned. They're getting controlled by LMQ from the very start of the game with the Dragon. The lane swapping, the way that Ackerman has moved around and actually teleported to find a kill onto balls. This time LMQ is keeping everyone involved instead of just playing as 4, and it is really showing through.
Slowly making his way in. You can see Cloud9 at least High here, trying to get himself in a position so the team can at least make some moves here in the next few minutes. It's going to take a while. Everything they do is always going to be countered against.
And listen, vision control around this Dragon area could very well decide this game. At the moment, if LMQ wins another team fight, I don't think there's any coming back for Cloud9. But if Cloud9 does win a team fight, they have the opportunity to equalize the game. So getting rid of that pink ward, clearing LMQ's vision around the Dragon Pit is paramount. LMQ has deep wards, however, so Cloud9 still probably have eyes on them.
Yep. Teleport is up for balls. Xiao taking a bit of damage there from High. Trying to keep himself composed as well. Can't go too far without the team in these ganks. Looks like they're forced to go back. Ooh, Xiao trying to put the pressure on. Does he get himself caught out? They are just toying with Cloud9 right now.
High just doesn't have the items. Just stick strong. He's got a Tiamat. He was able to build no MR. The very slow Ice Blast still connects post-hop. And Xiao's complete freedom in that mid lane, which should very well give them control over Dragon the next time it spawns.
Silly holding on balls in the top lane. Balls will still be able to teleport off of this, but like you said, Dragon very nicely taken. Everybody on LMQ is just going to go ahead and relax in mid lane. Looking at the 80 carries, not too bad coming in for Sneaky. Still have a late game. We talk about Cloud9's team fight. They have Sneaky on the outside to help, as well as some good crowd control from Lemon Nation, but it's like they look at the same thing with Zyra and Vasily on the other side. It's going to be very tough. The top lane, LMQ is going to close in on balls here. Not looking safe for him. The ethereal chain comes out. It does lock all the way through. The second one will lock as well. Absolute zero on the end, but do they have enough? The heal comes in. The blessing is not going to be good enough from Lemon Nation as he tries his damnedest to keep that save.
And the rest of Cloud9 might be trying to collapse, but they just look behind LMQ right now in gold and just in playmaking. High wants to make a play here, but he is all alone. He got
locked it out, does find it. Very nicely done by him. He's got turret still. This could be Cloud9 coming back. Meteos on the outside. No name's very low, but he can still offer utility to the team.
Yeah, and remember, there's a Sneaky pushing down that bottom lane. How much farm can he get before LMQ falls back? So far, it is just that 1-for-1 trade.
This is LMQ's first semi-stutter step here. They didn't get everything they wanted out of it, and now they're backing off with a bit of a loss. Still in the lead on gold. They have room to make a few errors.
Because honestly, LMQ had been playing pretty much flawlessly up until that point, where they overdove a little bit and allowed High a kill to maybe get himself back in the game. Got to say, the play by Vasily there was fairly controlled aggression going in for it, but they just had the wrong turret aggro during that dive. Right. Xiao ended up taking a bit too much damage.
High should be safe here. Putting himself in the solo lane up top now to soak up as much experience. He knows he's a bit behind. Look at that CS, 40 in the lead for Xiao. Average for him. He's always got a lead on his mid laners, except for the dig game.
Yeah, the one game they lost.
Right.
Keep up with the Ziggs. of all things, which is rather difficult. That's what Ziggs does. He gets creeps. Looks like he's got a nice mix of items there. Did have to go Seekers, so his burst potential is lowered for now until he gets a Death Cap or DFG. And they're going in for that blue buff steal. Cloud9 cannot contest.
Cloud9 has the defensive pink ward coverage, actually, but like you said, even not being able to contest, it's what's having the pink ward for. Tough times right now, and just a little gold behind. You can see how much control LMQ has in just 1,000 or few gold. It seems like 10,000.
The 2 side stones really add to that at this point in the game. Just all the deep wards they have in Cloud9's jungle, they're finding vision of them before Cloud9 even goes for a play. So for instance, LMQ doesn't have wards in their blue jungle, but they kind of know people are in there. Look at the pings, because they know the control of the lanes and they know the control of Cloud9's own jungle.
Cloud9 definitely respecting the play right now of LMQ, and I guess they have to, if you think about it. Both of these teams are kind of born from the challenger scene, coming in to really highlight their caliber of play in the LCS.
Yeah, this is a huge measuring stick game for LMQ, because Cloud9 is a team that followed a very similar path, as you said. Dominating the challenger scene, starting their LCS careers with an undefeated Super Week, and then where do you go from there? LMQ had a slight misstep, and they look to be recovering fantastically. Cloud9 wants to remain the only sheriff in town. LMQ wants to be a new one.
Well, they're doing a darn good job of it. Coming in, working very strong in the solo lanes, makes LMQ a formidable opponent in every game. And right now, they've done some work so far in the mid and bottom lane, looking to get another dragon. So far, 2 have pretty much been completely uncontested.
Yep.
And you're going to get a 3rd one.
Easily as well.
Wow. Such control.
And as far as picks and bans in this game, Cloud9 is not getting very much value out of their early picks.
Right.
They used very early choices on Meteos and Balls to try and slow down Ackerman and No Name. And quite honestly, they haven't slowed down Ackerman one bit. His reconnection has always been feared. He's just been playing Shyvana because maybe a slight preference. And the Nunu is a very LMQ-specific pick where they can go outside the normal North American jungler meta and still find success. This is the 2nd time, I believe, they're playing it, and it's just as successful here. Meteos' Lee Sin has been basically non-existent.
And that's tough for them. Meteos is somebody that gets everything going. If I can't solo a mid lane kill very early, like you said, they go and help out Balls. But that was LMQ this time, like no other team does. Focus down Balls over and over again. 0-2 and 0. He's had to back out of his lane multiple times. Vasily getting himself into a dangerous position in mid lane as we see Sneaky again on those Zerk Greaves. Hasn't been in the fights too much. He's on push duty right now.
Yeah, he's still trying to burst down for a whole bunch of damage, but he's got to be very careful where he goes.
It's just
more No Name can definitely catch him out.
Making the run. That Deathfire Grasp is finished, so.
That too.
Big pain from Xiao Wei Xiao. Oh, call the meat clear, or W clear rather. Balls is going to get himself back and forth and a little bit of damage trade. More forward wards as well. Baron could easily be something within the next 3 or 4 minutes. The LMQ feels safe enough pressuring for a fight that they know they can win.
And as well, knowing you can win in this top lane, Ackerman has done a job on Balls. LMQ as a whole has put him in a position to win, something that he was not granted in their last match against Dignitas. He came into the lane behind. This is not something LMQ let happen this time. They were very sure to make sure they got Balls behind before allowing that 1v1, and their reconnection is showing superior over Balls of Shyvana.
Oh, wait a minute, a mistake possibly. Moore throws himself into the fire. No Name's going to be in there. The absolute zero's canceled as he starts walking, and Vasily takes some damage there. Cloud9 pulls out a squeaker on that one.
Hey, Cloud9 definitely opportunistic right there, seeing a very squishy Zyra, but oftentimes in the past, LMQ has used Moore kind of as bait, and killing Moore will actually end up suiciding for a team. Not the case that time. Cloud9 gets in and out for now.
LMQ, still look at them though. They are not on the back foot. They say, all right, well, let's fight back, push you back. You're not getting anything off of that. Unfortunately to them, that mid turret did fall, and Cloud9 knew that they kind of overstaying their welcome, so they got out of there.
Yeah, really just watching this one more time. They knew Xiao Xiao was in the bottom lane, so the assassination threat was low, and then they just walked in different directions from each other. That was completely Moore's mistake, separating himself from No Name and the rest of the team.
Never easy to be in the last guy in line. Everything looks safe.
Yeah.
but then they know you're the last guy. Ackerman and Balls clocking each other in the jaw, back and forth. Nothing really much going on between these two. Looking down, 4 sweepers coming out for LMQ as they want more control. They want to shut down Cloud9's any chances of coming back.
And they're definitely allowed more sweepers because they have more sight stones, so they don't need as many replenishable wards on the map since they have so much control with the sight stones.
That blue buff quickly being taken out since Meteos cleared that at 8. So that was a 15-minute blue buff. It's actually been sitting there for quite some time. Definitely different play from Cloud9 here, kind of all sorts.
They're definitely playing very much to turtle this one out. When they recognized that LMQ had went the double sightstone and went for a very vision-heavy advantage, they kind of switched gears and said they're just going to try and keep their farm up. And for the most part, they have done that. Sneaky is above Vasily. Balls has pulled slightly ahead of Ackerman. And despite giving up the Dragons, it's only a 2,000 gold edge. And with all the investment LMQ has put into this vision game, if they don't find some catches off of it, Cloud9 would start turning this game around because there's not a huge team fight advantage for LMQ in this game.
Very good pressure coming in from LMQ, but Cloud9 is going to get what they want out of this. They do steal back to blue. Timer on that. Every little bit helps for Cloud9 right now. Usually a team...
Yeah, but Cloud9...
Right,
Cloud9 can't do this for long because of this guy.
Yeah.
Xiao is the solo laner, and Cloud9 doesn't really have someone who can adequately deal with him. So Cloud9 can make a few nice moves for now while they're ignoring him because they have a 5v4, but they can't ignore him forever. They're going to have to send 2 people for him, and he just backs away. This is what we thought LMQ was going to be doing with their team comp.
Right. Reminiscent of the first few games when Xiao would just sit on the side and punish that top laner every time he went to farm. I think it was Quas. Might have been Quas. I don't know. A lot of players, a lot of names, a lot of games. 33,000 to 30,000 right now. They have evened up the turret, so Cloud9 gets a little bit more map pressure back, and they shut down that turret vision for LMQ. 40 seconds on Dragon. You can see where everybody's mind is.
And this, if there was a time, would be the Dragon that Cloud9 can contest. High has the resets in his jump. He actually ranked his E second instead of his W, so he wants to do damage with that jump. In the upcoming team fights, really hoping to get some resets. They're looking to snowball a fight here, and they actually have some vision control. If they can catch LMQ coming in, it would be the turning point in the game. But like I said, if they lose a team fight, that could be it. Here it comes.
Ackerman taking a few shots. No Name's ability to just get himself in there. He is fearless. But it's also just kind of a tell if a Nunu's walking at you that the ult's going to be there. So Cloud9 plays it safe. Hard hats are on as we are about to do a Baron dance, or a Dragon dance.
It is so interesting right here because diving on top of a Zyra Nunu is next to impossible. Cloud9 has to be able to go in and back out and not stay through, but the plants are down.
So many wards.
A lot of poke.
Oh, clearing him out. Pink ward prevails. And LMQ gains mid-brush.
Who can poke each other more is a big question here. A lot of Corki missiles coming in, more already at half health, and High is hoping to flank around the back, which is making this push-pull effect for LMQ. If LMQ fully commits, they expose themselves for Kha'Zix. If they keep doing this dance, they might get out-poked by the Corki missiles, or they're waiting for a catch from Zyra.
Moore is dead immediately if High can find him. Cloud9 getting choked into a spot. High is on the other side. This is going to be a Cloud9 win. The Summoner heal comes out from LMQ, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Bleeding out into the river. Cloud9 tries to recuperate on this one. Now reassessing the fight. They have everything they need. Meteos goes in with the Q. He gets the Summoner heal coming in from Sneaky, and it looks like LMQ actually disengages handily.
Cloud9 could not quite get the resets, and one falls from both sides, but they do force most of LMQ back. They're actually thinking about staying and trying to get a pick here. Teleport coming in from Ackerman.
Oh my gosh, Ackerman may cancel. No, he doesn't. Home guard's on the run. The slice. Oh, he jumps. He doesn't get the dice. What timing coming in from High. But there is huge damage. The distortion in from a Xiao. Moore is still there. He says, let's go, Ackerman. But Sneaky brings him down. Lemon Nation. Oh my gosh. Very good play coming out of everybody. Lemon coming out of the base. That was somebody else. Yeah, lost.
It was absolute chaos, Riv. In all of it, the support of LMQ, Moore picked up a double kill, and Sneaky picks up a double of his own. Let's go back to the very start of this fight, and it was a great turn, Shyvana plus the tidal wave, but the zone control of LMQ was actually lost because the diving of High and Meteos got in behind the Venn diagram of Nunu and Zyra ultimates, which meant the chase could be on. but LMQ with the gold lead was able to survive just long enough. That could have easily been a disaster and a 4-for-1 for Cloud9, but it was not. Then the fight continues. Teleport comes in from Ackerman, and it looked like it could be worse. Luckily for Cloud9, Xiao was low on mana, so all he could do was that W.
Oh my god.
Then he was clean out of mana. They didn't finish him off. Moore lands a great plant kill there. But once that happened, since they had stuck around and chased and Ackerman was the only one at full health, the after effects of the first fight still held true, and they could get a double kill back on a Sneaky. So all things considered, Rib, craziest fight. I'd say Cloud9's back in the game.
Very much so. Everything's been done. 2,000 gold down, but Cloud9 is finding the ins and outs necessary to keep themselves alive and really are going to put themselves on the doorstep of LMQ. They have to reconsider these fights a little bit. I figured Xiao coming in with these Zanyas would able to be kind of a playmaker and really set Cloud9 off in the fight, but well executed. Yes, they do. A lot of damage to Meteos. There comes the hit coming in. The tidal wave goes through the team. That's going to be more going down. The crowd control is now out. Can they keep going?
And they managed to pull that off without Balls having to burn his teleport. A very bold move by Meteos. He's going heavily into tank on Lee Sin because he knows he needs to fly into some very dangerous territory to pull off plays. But that's the second time Moore has actually been caught out and cost his team a kill.
All right, Cloud9 cleaning up at the turrets. Looks like Hai is going to do what he can. This is a scary situation. You can see Xiao already on blue elixir, and the game's kind of at mid-game, so he's throwing as much money as he can into the fights. I mean, what team have we ever seen kind of lose dragon positioning and a fight and then teleport back in? LMQ just keep going into the fire.
They definitely pile on to objectives when they feel like they're in danger.
Yeah.
And even in their game against Dignitas, once they fell behind, they just kept trying to come back at them. This is kind of one of those games as well where if LMQ does fall behind, it's going to be incredibly difficult for them to come back. They had such a nice early lead, but Cloud9 is really clawing their way back here, specifically Sneaky's Corki, who will have a huge amount of power right now with the Trinity Force and that Bloodthirster. If Xiao can't get onto Sneaky, I feel like Cloud9 actually wins a lot of these fights.
Yep. You heard Vasily earlier today in the intro video. If we can beat Cloud9, it will be a huge step in the strength of our team, and we'll really solidify it. Well, right now, Cloud9 showing that being behind against LMQ and now to beat them, it's something nobody has done yet.
No. And with 281 CS on Xiao, they're trying to make sure this doesn't happen. Ooh. Tries his best to get onto Sneaky, but he used most of his damage just to get in range of the chain.
Gotta be careful on this fight. Very low mana for Lemon Nation. He throws out the ult immediately. They want to dictate it because they know the conditions they're under. It looks like LMQ is not gonna like those conditions. They back right off.
Not a clean initiation for Cloud9 right there. The tidal wave missed, and Hai flashed out after leaping. It wasn't coordinated with Balls of Shyvana ultimate either. So LMQ actually wants to stick around here, I thought, because so much was burned by Cloud9, but they're actually just going to back away.
Said, all right, you don't want us to take the turret. We'll back off. There's some money to be spent.
You used all your skills. We will go away now.
We got Sunfire Cape and a little bit of magic resistance being mitigated over on the side of Balls, but Ackerman has that Banshee's Veil already created on the Sunfire Cape. He's been having a good game for himself. He's actually surpassed Balls again in CS, so those two kind of going back and forth in a little lane fighting throughout the game. Xiao and Hai. Still a matchup to be watched.
I know.
I don't think we really got much out of this one for those two.
Yeah, the main thing is Hai got pretty obliterated in lane.
Yeah.
But the rest of his team is carrying him through right here. They lost control of the mid lane, and it's really just the stalling of Cloud9 that's letting Hai back in this one.
Sneaky creeping around, trying to keep his CS up. He's actually passed out by Vasily on that as well.
He's actually getting out itemed right now, but he's sitting on 1,600 gold. It's probably wanting to go back for his last whisper. He doesn't quite have the funding yet to do so. 400 gold ahead of Vasily, as you can see. And it's really that big mid lane discrepancy is what's holding a lot of this. Yeah. Obviously, Nunu has gone more supportive, hasn't farmed nearly as much as Meteos. One thing about Meteos as far as jungle Lee Sin goes, he has farmed much more than you typically would see a Lee Sin farm. Lee Sin normally is all over the place gank-wise, but because he was against a Nunu and Cloud9 had lost vision, he mainly just relegated himself to farming, but because of the farm, he's turned himself into quite a strong tank, and he can now dive in with much impunity.
Setting themselves up, everybody timing that dragon as it's about to spawn. A very nice wave in the top lane as well. Ball's not having teleport, so it looks like they're all here for the party. Pink ward goes down. No Name is going to be in the bush to see that. Try for the Aqua Prison.
Really awkward timing by LMQ. They backed Xiao, but it wasn't in vision control, so Cloud9 should actually think he's waiting. But they start the dragon regardless, and Xiao is not in range. How is LMQ going to posture and fake like they have someone there? Here comes the flank!
Balls are on the outside! Oh my god, Moore goes down instantly! Balls can take great amount of damage. Vasily and Xiao giving him what for, and he's still alive. Good hits coming in. Meteos gets himself in with the Lee Syndrome on the Q. That's a nice absolute zero positioning, but nobody was able to walk into it on the side of Cloud9. Vasily goes down. Cloud9 is taking back over in this game.
2 kills, and it was all about the positioning of that fight, Rib. They got the turn. Xiao was not there, and Cloud9 just went in at the right moment. This dragon will actually give them the gold lead. Taking one more look at this one. You can see Xiao actually used his distortion just to get in range, and the battle lines of LMQ were destroyed. Moore got killed before he could use his ultimate, and therefore Cloud9 could just continue diving. We also mentioned Meteos' tanky build. He could go into that fight basically 1v3 just to keep LMQ interested because he had no fear of 9. Big time fight for Cloud9.
Great play, Cloud9 playing the cards right. Very nicely done. Mid turret going to be hit up here. LMQ, they lose a fight. Where are they? They're at your turrets. They are never going to give up. They try to get as much damage on it as they can. Only a little bit, but enough as Xiao even trying for the bag of chips on the side. Great play so far. Coming in from Cloud9 to hold steady. High's definitely back in action with keeping the team organized in tight situations.
Yeah, and as a team, Cloud9 is really pulling their strategy together in team fights, and it's showing them edges. Here's what they're doing. You look at LMQ's team, and you try and analyze where their damage is actually coming from. They have a huge amount of burst from Xiao. Nunu, mainly magic damage, very little damage though. Ackerman is basically a tank. Zyra can become a secondary form of AP carry damage, and they recognize that, and they're ignoring Vasily itemization-wise. Everyone's building magic resistance, and they're heavily diving Vasily with high Meteos and balls. If they can take Vasily out of fights, they only have to worry about the magic damage, which they're itemizing for, and then trying to win that way. So it's a very nice team fight strategy by Cloud9. Watch to see where they focus, and their itemization is superb.
Looks like Cloud9 now making moves of their own. It's not just posturing around Dragon for LMQ to come. Cloud9 is now staying there inside and trying to force LMQ into this. Sneaky's going to be going mid lane. Double buff to keep him extra safe, along with a Valkyrie. Uh-oh, Balls, a 3v2 situation. Balls gets out.
Flank, though.
Whoa, High coming in from the side. Almost takes down Xiao, and it looks like C9 may be able to collapse here. It's Sneaky just a little ways off. Xiao still alive in the end of the fight. Ackerman doing what he can. He is a brick wall right now. It's going to be more throwing down the Stranglethorns, and LMQ has reset on this fight. Nobody has gone, actually Balls went down, sorry, but they walk away limping on both sides.
Yeah, but Cloud9 couldn't take down Vasily that time, and you could see him starting to clean up near the end of that fight with those 3 big items. He life stole a whole bunch after the failed start by Cloud9. So a little bit of danger. The first big mistake we've actually seen them make since coming back from that big early game disadvantage. It's game on right now. As you can see right here.
A little too much.
Yeah, and you can see Cloud9 try to collapse over. They actually try to burst down Xiao. Vasily wasn't even there, but because they used so much of their burst here, the chase was actually ill-advised. They think they can ignore their damage because that's what they've been doing in team fights generally, but when Vasily arrives, it's just trouble from that point. The Zyra ult zones them a little bit, and Vasily's a scary man.
So back and forth. Last tweet saying bloodthirsty. Definitely a great way to state this game. 8-7, but these teams have walked away from the fights numerous times with blinking red health bars just to come back and do it again. Cloud9 takes the lead by just 700 gold.
Wow, what a game. The vision control over the Baron pit as well is going to be so important. Still 2 side stones sitting on LMQ. Cloud9 with the 3 sweepers, but a lot of pink wards. And it's all about where they can posture for fights now. It's not so much about how many wards you can put on the map because the game is much more condensed now into smaller areas. It's about how you can control those areas. It's more about sweeping, less about spamming wards, which means the double sightstone isn't nearly as effective as it was 20 minutes ago.
LMQ may see this as a chance once they get eyes on balls in the bottom lane. He does have teleport, but LMQ is fast and steady when they initiate a fight. He's going to get this turret, so wow, Cloud9 pick up a bit of map pressure onto this with Baron being up. This is an awesome grab.
Yeah, and this is about that control of the spot. Cloud9 able to clear pink wards in the Baron area without risking getting initiated upon. Look at what LMQ sees right now. It's very sparse vision. They do know that High is off in the top lane, so they can kind of check things, but they got to be very scared that a tidal wave doesn't catch them out of the fog of war. Sneaky, though, gets hit up.
Wow, they were all for going head-to-head on that one. Very close. Facility's damage coming out on top with a few minions in the way. Sneaky couldn't connect every bomb, so we'll have to watch his positioning in these fights. High now to the top lane as well. These guys are keeping split pushing in love, right? Or they're loving split pushing, I should say.
High is trying to use the split push as a way to really farm up. He evolved his W. I'm actually very surprised he didn't evolve his ultimate against LeBlanc Burst, so he doesn't get that extra bits of damage reduction that he would want from his ultimate.
Meteos, quick clear on Baron wards. They need to keep this very, very controlled. We've seen what Xiao can do at a Baron attempt, coming up with triple kills. Yasuo or LeBlanc will get those same results.
Yeah, this game got a whole bunch more tense as soon as Cloud9 had that one misstep. They should still hold an edge in a 5v5 team fight, but they're doing a lot of split pushing now. Mainly to, I believe, just get control of the Baron area and continue to deny LMQ vision. They're trying to keep them running between spots.
Looks like this Dragon may be at the point of being worth the most. Big pickup here for Cloud9 still. Everybody's still quite early. We don't see 6 items in the game yet, or even a lot of 3 or 4 items.
36 minutes in. Not a very bloody game considering the amount of movement. It's because Cloud9 did a very good job stalling. And then LMQ actually did a good job abandoning fights when they started losing them, and they've never actually let Kha'Zix get those resets.
That's true. Something LMQ has always been good at, even if you don't have a Zyra or a Nunu to separate, as they disengage. They know how to spread, and they know how to get away. I believe once they played against Complexity in the Mel fight, they would never let an unstoppable force hit, ever.
Yeah. And these are 2 of the teams with the best team fight coordination as well. Yeah. Very standard rosters. LMQ stuck together all through the Challenger scene. They've been together for half a year. Cloud9 much longer. They're like a family as well. Almost not even vocal communication team fights. They just know where each other are going.
You see Sneaky here on the front line, giving that blue buff over and over so he can keep spitting out bombs. Corki pickup for him has been working quite well, and nobody's really had the mind to take it away from him. 5-0-2 right now for the team. Let's see what they can do with the next turret.
If it gets to hyper late game, Corki's going to fall off scaling-wise a little bit, but at this moment, he is an absolute monster. 3 ranks into his missiles right
turrets.
now. A huge amount of poke coming out. That's another reason High evolved his W. More poke damage in Siege to kind of bait LMQ into initiating.
They may have this one coming up. Already prepped to go down. Wow, Cloud9. They turn the page and they start going textbook.
Yeah, no mana left on High, though, which actually tells LMQ they can get a little bit aggressive right here.
A little bit. That probably means they're going to try to go all-out fight.
Yeah, that's a little bit of LMQ aggression.
Let's see what they can do.
Find it.
So the back, wow, just on the outside. LMQ not seeing. And we're going to see what they can do now. Like we said, their vision's a little scarce. No Name throwing down a ward. They'll be able to pick up a pink here. And this is like, I think the first time in 5 or so minutes they've actually been on this side of the map. Cloud9 had a great run just now.
I mean, it's resource management. They knew High was going back to base, and they know they have temporary vision control. They were trying to sneak this. I wonder if they go, they do have Nunu for the secure. Cloud9 has to die right now.
He used the Q already. Meteos flashes in. Where's the smite going to go? Baron down to 700. It's actually hit up by Ackerman. going down. And they're going to keep going onto the fight. Ackerman is right in the middle. Dominus is shredding HP bars along with the Call to Meek, and they are still going. Sneaking on the outside. Him and Vasily now in a 1v1 with a bit of help. It's going to be Vasily, but then he's focused in by Cloud9. High tries to jump. The Ethereal Chain takes him down. Balls is running scared, and it looks like we will have Lemon Nation going to the top side as well. LMQ gets Baron.
What a call by LMQ right there to just go for the Baron despite being pushed around for the past 15 minutes, knowing High was back and knowing they had the potential for a new secure. Even though he wasn't even the one to get the Baron, knowing that they could burst down the damage that quickly and force Cloud9 to dive into Azira and have LMQ control the positioning of that fight. They get the Baron, only lose one person, and just look at that. Nunu started his ultimate before the dive. They weren't even going for the Baron. They were just daring Cloud9 to dive in, which meant the initiation was sloppy. The Zyra ultimate catches everyone on Cloud9, and the push continues down mid.
Vasily, he's dead, but he bought an Infinity Edge. That's huge for him after that fight. Once he gets back in, he's going to be zeroing people out. He is mounds ahead of the damage this Sneak is going to get. Like you said, going to be falling off soon. And the second that LMQ gets back on the side of Cloud9's base, they start taking over again.
Yeah.
They had a chance to breathe.
What a fantastic move. I really can't say enough. And now Vasily, with that Infinity Edge and the Nunu Blood Boil, becomes the prominent carry for LMQ. He's also built a Alacrity boost to try and keep his distance. These fights are really going to be kind of classic Season 2 fights in the sense where it's the 80 carry versus the world. Cloud9's going to try to put so much into diving onto him, whether High, Meteos, and Balls can get to him, and whether Nunu and Zyra can protect him. That's exactly the team you want if you're trying to protect your team from being dived upon.
41 minutes on the clock. Exactly the same gold amongst these teams. 64,000 as it hits the mark. 5 to 6 in turrets. Cannot get any closer between two teams that are clawing their way to the top spot in the North American LCS. This is only the start of the split.
Yeah.
This is going to be a crazy split with
and
the
you
results
can really
we've
see
had.
Cloud9's items as well. They built 3 Rand wins. They're no longer trying to ignore Vasily because they know that they can't necessarily kill him right away. Open inhibitor, still people with Baron on LMQ. They're going for this one. Let's see if Cloud9 tries to flank from behind because Lee Sin is right there.
Balls isn't there for the fight, so this is Cloud9 accepting that that inhibitor has to go down. Can they keep LMQ from backing in this situation? Do they have enough power?
Balls trying to trade inhibitors right now. He never teleported back up. It's a very dangerous game for Cloud9 to play, though, trying to interrupt recalls.
Not enough wards in the jungle. Well, Ackerman's going to be found. That's one. That would definitely give Balls a problem if he were able to meet it. You can see the turret down to 75% health. He's trying to get some twin bites on it. I think he's going to be able to take it down before they get back, but he could die here.
LMQ is running at him with Nunu and LeBlanc instead of doing the recall game. Balls, he can finish the turret, but it's probably going to cost him his life.
And let's see how he moves out of this one. The rest of the team is coming down mid, so depending on what they use here, he goes down quite quick on that one. Cloud9 is going to be forced to back. Vasily, a nice little dash calling in.
Trying to pull off some fancy moves. It's a turret for a death.
Yep.
That is a 55-second death timer. Dragging up in 26 seconds. Not a terrible move for Cloud9. It does give one more kill to the ever-present assassin, Xiao's LeBlanc.
Now it starts to get scarier on the other side of scaling. Like you said, more at that point can start to become a caster himself. The Void Staff that Leandri's finished. It's going to start hurting. Void Staff as well coming in for Xiao. It's going to be very painful to come into these fights for Cloud9. Using that poke to stay alive right now.
Yeah, so LMQ right here. Knowing that Balls is dead. Going for it. Amazing that Cloud9's actually going for the Dragon here when their base is in danger. They got to get back, otherwise they're going to give up inhibitor number 2 and maybe cost themselves the game.
Could have been a bit of a relaxed call on this one. Cloud9 seems to
Balls is still down. They shouldn't have
be
went
home
for
company here. And they're going to be losing an inhibitor. Good Aqua Prison. But that's a lot for a very little.
Yeah, I mean, now they're trying to teleport in with Shyvana, with Banshees. They're trying to get this fight because they know they may lose the game.
Going on Ackerman immediately. That's going to be the Stranglethorn going down. Meteos is trying to come in from the backside, but he hits no name. Not a lot of damage to be provided there. Tries to get a good cripple, and Tempest in. Don't now back off. Meteos cannot do much. LMQ doing a very good job at microing themselves in and out when the higher health bar needs to be taking damage.
Get one.
Very nice job. That's going to be big. Moore tries to offer up the true damage from his passive. High goes in. He is full HP. Xiaowei's down for the backside. Gets up balls, and he could be taking him down. There's the 1-2 from him and No Name. They are now following C9 from the backside. They were just on the front side. What is happening in this fight? High turns it around. He's going to go for the triple. Woo! Triple kill for High. 13-14, 44 minutes in, and Meteos is saving the base.
A last-ditch fight for Cloud9, but honestly, Riv, they're not out of the woods yet. They're still down 2 inhibitors, and that was a last-ditch effort to prevent losing themselves the game. They ended up losing an inhibitor, and Meteos had to leave the fight to go defend that because the super minions pushed up the mid lane. Still, a whole bunch of money just went into High's hands.
Oh my gosh, what a game. Let's take a look at it again.
Yeah, this one, see, they have the ultimates up, but they're gone, and that means the control of the fight is lost and Cloud9 can continue to chase. It was still a whole bunch of chaos. We mentioned these guys are the best teams in team fights. Watch the way Xiao actually sneaks in behind them, I believe, and manages to burst down Sneaky. Zhonya's-ing while he's chaining Sneaky right there, and it allows Vasily to come in and finish him. And then he's still in the back of the fight. He was a pain this entire time. All that farm onto the block, picking up one fight after another, as High is desperately trying to finish them off. And then, because he can get resets, he does the mini leap because he has so much damage in there. And because of the AoE damage from his Hydra, is able to clean up. Unbelievable fight.
We got to remember, before all this happened, they lost 2 inhibitors. So as great as that looks, they are still up against the ropes.
Yeah, and a Nexus turret.
Right, but yeah, that too.
They get 1 inhibitor
Meteos
back right there. They have a timeline until the next inhibitor can come back. And the Baron does not cooperate with that time.
No,
this is going to be real tough.
Sweet.
Probably didn't mean to Randall's right
yeah,
there.
maybe not.
Rare mistake for LMQ as they've been playing immaculately since Cloud9 was able to pick up that lead. This has been such a great game. 46 minutes in, trying to get vision control. The big thing about this is Cloud9 has to keep that top lane pushed, otherwise their Nexus would die. This is a nearly incontestable Baron.
Good dash away. And LMQ knows it. They know they can't even contest the outright fight. That's a very nice Nami ultimate, but is it followed up? Because there is the disengage from the Stranglethorn. Meteos getting hit up. Good HP bars on both sides. Still looks like a strong fight. Ackerman, he is going for broke on this one. Ball's getting very hurt. Vasily's low. Wait a minute. It's going to be High coming in. He's going to get the rock down to the Guardian Angel of Vasily. Meteos on the back line. A few more shots for him can solidify a kill, and kill secured. Double kill for High. He's going big again. Shots coming in from Sneaky onto No Name, and Cloud9 may have just turned this one around.
It's just Xiao open, but there are super minions coming on Cloud9, and they're not sending someone back. Those super minions might end the game unless the inhibitor respawn in the time frame. They're going for the open inhibitor. Meteos goes back. What a fight from Cloud9.
They got that fresh spawn of minions. Like you said, Meteos back. It will be safe. Minions coming out every 30 seconds, so he's good to go. But these minions behind Cloud9 right now, only Xiao.
No casualties in that fight. They're trying to push this one down. High just zoning him out with a ton of damage.
47 minutes in, Cloud9 breathing safe while still losing 2 inhibitors to come back and take down LMQ in the game. Summer Split, Week 2.
What a game, Riv. 18 kills to 13. Cloud9 came back from being 2 inhibitors and a Nexus turret down. Some incredibly chaotic fights down the stretch where they broke through the back line of LMQ. And that is a tough loss for LMQ to take.
What an amazing game to get this day started. Huge play shown by LMQ. Cloud9 showing they are very much back to form when it comes to situational control.
Yeah, this was such a high-level game in so many ways. Pretty much close goal throughout. Cloud9 fell behind early and then was able to recognize where their mid-game team fighting was going to take them through. They executed a lot of those mid-game team fights just right, juking and dodging and diving around the control of Nunu and Zyra. Eventually, High was able to pick up enough kills to just take off as that late-game Kha'Zix. Xiao was a wizard the whole time on the block, just being untouchable, but not quite enough in the end. Cloud9 is victorious, moves themselves to 4-2.